Hey there, everybody. It's Camille Martin with Love to Lose, and this is where I teach you how to love your life and lose the weight. In my video today, I want to talk about some of the BS stories that we tell ourselves that keep us stuck and locked into our bad habits. The problem is, as with anything, is that we rarely look behind or past the surface of what's going on to see what's pushing us to do the things that we're doing. And if you're telling yourself the wrong story that's actually pushing you to engage in a bad habit, that's a big problem, because you're just going to keep trying to attack the bad habit on the surface and get rid of it, which we know doesn't work. And also, not only is that story pushing you to engage in the bad habit is then creating more of that story. I'm going to give you a few examples in a minute, but in the video today, I want to give you a 3-step process to change your BS stories and help you get rid of your bad habits. So a classic example is needing a glass of wine at the end of a long, hard day. And I was guilty of this for so long, and I don't know why it took me so long to figure it out. But I would have a really hard day, busy, doing mom stuff, working, running errands, cleaning the house, and I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from. So I would be so stressed out during the day that I would want to have a big glass of wine at the end of the day. And sometimes that glass of wine turned into 2 and even 3 if I'm being honest. So then what would happen is that I wouldn't sleep very well because of drinking wine. And so because I didn't sleep well, I would wake up the next morning tired, probably would skip my workout, and then not get a lot done and not feel like I really made any progress. And therefore, my day was a hard day and very stressful. I finally figured out that drinking wine was giving me poor quality sleep, and that poor quality sleep led to me not getting a lot done during the day and creating a hard day. So my story of I deserve a glass of wine at the end of this long, hard day, that was creating more of a long, hard day, and then therefore pushing me to engage in the bad habit of drinking wine at the end of the day. Another great example is I don't have time to work out. So if you don't work out and you skip your workouts, it makes you feel totally unfocused and kind of fuzzy. So therefore, if you're not focused during the day, you don't get as much done. And then what you want to do the next day is you tell yourself, I don't have time to work out because see, I had this whole busy day. I didn't get everything done. And so the next morning, I don't have time to work out, and then you don't work out. So that story of I don't have time to work out is creating more of you not working out, which is then creating more of a day where you don't have time to work out. So if you reverse that and you get up and you work out, then you feel more energized. Then you get more done during the day, and then voila, you have plenty of time to work out. So you see how that works? So I finally closed my porch door. My dogs came in, and now we don't have to hear that freaking dump truck that's out on the greenway picking up trees and knocking them over and taking it off into the sunset. So I apologize. But anyway, so your bad habit is creating this false narrative that's making it easy then to keep engaging in that bad habit. So what you want to do is to get beyond the surface and identify what's creating more of, making you engage in this bad habit and what's preventing you from changing it into a good habit. Now I'm going to give you that 3-step process to fix it. Step number 1 is obviously identify the false narrative. Now this is obvious, but sometimes it can be really challenging because we don't typically notice the thoughts that we're thinking. Not only that, sometimes we cling to these false stories. I know I did. I didn't want to stop drinking wine at the end of the day. It was fun. It felt good. And who wants to, it's fun to skip your workout. It's fun to sleep in. Ultimately, it's not in the long term, but we cling to these false narratives because they not only, let us off the hook, but it's giving us an excuse to not push ourselves to change things. So the first thing you want to do is identify the narrative, and how you do that is you pay attention during the day to the stories that you're telling yourself. If you're telling yourself you need a glass of wine at the end of the day, or you can't wait to have a glass of wine, or you deserve to have a glass of wine, pay attention to these stories, notice what you're saying to yourself, and just identify the false BS stories that you really are telling yourself. Step number 2 is to push yourself to engage in the opposite of the bad habit. Normally, I'm not a fan of willpower. I don't like the forcing yourself to do things that are healthy. But in this case, when you're telling yourself the wrong story, it's helpful to actually make yourself engage in the good habit. So for example, if you're skipping your workouts because you think you don't have time, get up a little bit early and go on a 10-minute walk, or get on your treadmill for 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be a full force balls to the wall workout, but just so that you can see what the opposite feels like, and you can see how good you feel when you do engage in the positive version of your bad habit. And the most important thing is, when you're doing this, set yourself up for success. So lay out your workout clothes the night before, put it in your calendar so that it's non-negotiable. It's an appointment that you have. And do this for at least 5 days. So when you get a 5-day, when you make a commitment for 5 days and then you engage in a good habit for 5 days, the goal is just to see how you feel, and you'll notice that it starts to change your narrative. You start to say, wow, God, I feel really good when I don't have 3 glasses of wine. I sleep a lot better. And then you'll start to see that you have more energy and that you get more work done, you're more focused, and the same with working out. So whatever story you're telling yourself, push yourself to engage in the opposite of that bad habit for at least 5 days to get a contrast. Step number 3 is to notice the ripple effect of engaging in this process. And so what I mean by that is that, for example, if you force yourself for 5 days to get up early and to have a 10-minute workout or whatever you're gonna do, you feel like you have more energy, you have more focus, you start to get more things done, and then you have more time to cook or to do food prep or go to the grocery store and get your nutrition locked down. And so the more healthy you are with your nutrition and the better you're eating and the more you're cooking and feeling positive about that, then that makes it easier to continue working out and doing all the healthy things that you know you need to do in order to get the body that you want and to have the healthy lifestyle that you really want to be living. So when you notice this ripple effect, and this cascade effect, the best part about that is that you can feed off of that positive energy and all of that progress that you're making, and that really does boost your confidence. And the more confident you are, the less likely you are to tell yourself these BS stories and let yourself off the hook. So to wrap this up, always remember that there's something going on under the surface. It's not that you're lazy or you have no willpower, or that you hate to work out. That's another BS story. I'm not a workout person. How do you know if you don't work out? But it's so much easier to make changes in your life when you look below the surface and you see what's really going on. I know it took me a really long time to figure that out. And then that weight that we carry around, the mental weight and the emotional weight of feeling like a failure, really is the most destructive thing and is the biggest thing standing in the way of you and your success and becoming the healthy person that you were meant to be. So it's always easier to get underneath the surface, figure out what's really pushing you and motivating you to do the wrong things, and then you can change that to make it easier on yourself to do the right things. It's 1,000 times easier to figure out what's motivating you and pushing you and change that than it is to just get rid of a bad habit. I really hope this video helped you, and I hope that you can put these steps into place to change your BS stories, because you don't need those anymore. If you haven't already signed up to get my weekly newsletter, head to my website at CamilleMartinRD.com and get yourself signed up so that you can get tips, inspiration, and motivation on your weight loss journey. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you here next time on Love to Lose.